So what we are going to see in this video is the important book list for clearing preliminary examination. And my name is Sivarajarajendran, and with that information, we'll go into the video. As many of you have asked, what are the book lists necessary or the books necessary for preliminary examination? These are the following books. For example, we'll start with polity. In polity, this is the standard book. So any other book may be available in the market, or many other DD Basu or many other books can be available. But I would suggest that this polity book, which is very essential for your clearing preliminary examination as well as mains examination. For both these things, the Lakshmikant book will be very important. But this students forget to add, but I am not suggesting the following book as a very essential part, but this Bakshi book or the constitution or the articles, because the problem happens is that now UPSC has gone into the next stage of asking questions. The questions are more of an analytical point of view. So you have to have an analysis. So what these articles are meaning, for example, in the Lakshmikant book, all these things are given. The important things are given in each section, each chapter, it is there. But all this has a base. The base is in these constitution articles. This is the point. But whether we have to learn every article and know every word possible in given in the article, no. But we need, so at least just or one browsing through that article will give you an understanding of what these things which are given in the book Lakshmikant, you will get it. So I will not suggest this as a mandatory thing, but like Kamal Hassan says, கடவுள் இருக்காரான்னு தெரியாது, but இருந்தா நல்லா இருக்கும். So same way, in the same way, constitution, for example, PM Bakshi, if you have, I'm not saying it is completely helpful, but it can be helpful, you know. So please look into this these two books for polity. The next is this geography, you know. So for geography, it is pretty much standard. Don't see anyone having a geography option may have a different versions of these books, but for anyone writing, for example, preliminary examination, or even other option students writing preliminary examination and mains examination, these books will be enough. So fundamentals of physical geography, this is the 11th. So all these books, if you happen to see, are NCERT books, and the PDFs are available online. So you can download the PDFs, they are available online free. The fundamentals of physical geography, I would say start with the basics of these things which are given in this will be there, and then this fundamentals of next, this is the point, this is 11th standard book, then next 12th standard books. So in this will be, I assume, or I think that this will be enough. Human geography, and then this Indian people and economy. So all these important things of human geography, what is this migration, what is this what are the different sectors, for example, agriculture, industry, services sector, what is the fourth, now we have gone into the fourth revolution of industries, what are all these things, where these minerals are, where these crops are, everything, for example, standard, this book will be enough. And if you just go through them, you don't have to worry about a deeper understand, just to understand these things. If, for example, if you are not able to understand in these books, this book, for example, the contemporary India one, this is a 10th standard book. So 11th standard, 12th standard, this is a 10th standard geography book. This book, for example, has these meanings of resource very nicely. So for example, these definitions of what is mineral resource, what is for example, what is this iron ore based resource, or metallic ore resource, or non-metallic. See, the way they have given in this book, for example, simple book, understanding part of all these will help you inside the prelims. If you think about it, they are not going to ask you direct questions. But understand this fact very clearly. Inside the prelims hall, it is not the things that you have read that is going to be helpful. Rather, it is what you have understood from the context is going to be helpful. And for understanding, for example, all these geographical things for plate tectonics, what is this mountain building, climate, everything, these books will be standard and enough. And if you one more book, so for example, one more book is this Contemporary India. This is ninth standard book. So this is a ninth standard book. So I would suggest these two books will be enough. And for climate, so there is one important thing. Every year there is a question on climate. Every year you take whichever question paper, preliminary examination question paper, every year there has to be a question on climate. And for climate, reading about different types of climate, what is this Mediterranean climate, British climate, Laurentian climate, China climate, what is this steppe climate, what is this savanna climate, what is this equatorial climate. This time they asked this question of equatorial climate, montane climate. All these things you will find this in this book. This book is a very standard, simple book. I think this will be enough. Go Cheng Liang, GC Liang. The climate part. So there will be a table. So at least go through that table before the start of these climate related topics, or each topic will be explained in one chapter. There will be a table of different how these continents of, or how a continent has different climates, there is a table. You can go through that, you will understand much, and all these basics will be given in this, and this will be enough for geography. Next we will go to this economics part. This part many of them are confused, because see, that is the point. This happens to be more of this current event based questions. So UPSC, because this economics happens to be a lively subject, they always go into these current events and what these things have. And hence what I would suggest is that a strong basic things are necessary. Strong base. See, that is the point. There is a palamuli, சுவர் இருந்தாதான் சித்திரம், in Tamil, சுவர் இருந்தாதான் சித்திரம் வரைய முடியும்னா, that is only when you have a strong base you can build on that. Only when you have a strong base you will have a creativity in that. And for this strong base I would suggest key concepts. It was for example, when I started it was around 200 pages, but I think now it has increased, the pages have increased in this, but the key concepts, what is the meaning is that the key concepts you should know. What is FDI? What is this RBI or functions of RBI? What is this repo rate, reverse repo rate? What is this SLR? What is this CRR? Simple words. What is bond? What is the meaning of bond? So see, don't worry if UPSC is going to ask me different questions. They are going to ask different directions of some current affairs or things. See, any current affairs, take it from this. Any current affairs can be answered only when you know the basics. Simple understanding. Only when you know this ABCD, only when you know this, you will be able to understand what an English language paragraph is, what a reading comprehension is. So what I am trying to say is that in economics, first think about key concepts. Next, worry about the questions that are going to come. So key concepts, for that I will suggest, for example, for me this book is okay. Any other book, please, you can go through that. And the next is this, for example, economic survey. This will come so soon, February. So after this February budget is released, this has to be read, but this has to be read not fully. That is the point. For preliminary examination and mains examination, this book is essential, but not fully. And the important key areas in that, maybe we will, once this budget or this economic survey is released, we will have these economic survey last. For example, you can check the videos we have done in the last, for a last economic survey, for last prelims I have done some videos. You can check, the important key things are there. So this will be enough for economics. And the newspaper, you can same again, whatever I am saying, please complement it or supplement it with newspaper, And next is the science. So now this is becoming a little bit important in UPSC. So science, And what they are asking is the basic understanding. Not, see, they are not like, for example, you can check the question papers in maybe earlier TNPSC question, Tamil Nadu Public Service Commission question, or Group 2 question. You can check them. It will be like 10th direct 10th standard question, 12th standard question. There will be science based question. Which element, for example, in group 1, group 2 and all, which element replaces this in this salt equation or in this acid equation, things like that will be asked. But in UPSC they will not ask all these things, and hence the understanding part is important. For that, if you see, I will suggest, for example, 6th, 7th, 8th. So the science book of so basic, what, how this evolution happened, what these stars are, what is the meaning of stars, the planets, what are all these, for example, what is this light, what is this sound, meaning of sound, what waves are meaning, or what, see, the basic understanding. Now see, what UPSC is asking you is only a basic of all these things. What is evolution, what, see the point, if you, and for this part only, for example, they keep concentrating on something called as biotechnology. UPSC keeps asking this biotechnology part a lot. Many of the questions now, for example, not now, previously also, they are concentrating more on this. And for that, this is the 12th standard book. So if you happen to see, this is the 12th standard biology book. So please check this book, NCRT. This is an NCERT. This book, for example, in this book, not fully, maybe these chapters, see this chapter on microbes, or how these microbes are helpful. For example, what and all microbes are helpful. And this next, this is the part I said. From this chapter only, the UPSC keeps asking question. You check this chapter, biotechnology, or what is this recombinant? See, this recombinant technology, importance of all these things are there. Applications, next chapter, and this evolution. So, for example, UPSC sometimes, or in preliminary examination, evolution based questions, or what were the elements first present, this was a question. What were the elements first present, or what first came, RNA, or last time also viruses, or HIV virus was a RNA or a DNA, some kind of things. So we need to know the basic factor. So this chapter will give you the basic. So that is what I say, don't go for very hard books. 6th, 7th, 8th science book, NCERT. So this is NCERT, not much. So NCERT, and this 12th book, this is the point. So please note this down, and this will be enough for science. Next is very, very important, history. People keep skipping history. I say that this examination, if you have to clear, means history is very important. So வரலாறு மிக முக்கியமானது, you should know. Okay, and the point is that for that you will go for, that is the point, 11th. So sorry, this is 12th. 11th is, I think 11th NCERT is about world history, but in 12th ancient history, please do read it now. So at least before March, okay, at least before March, you should have read ancient India once and medieval India once. This is very, very important. See, don't skip. See, the point is that we spend so much of time mugging up all these facts from these this current affairs materials, but why don't you mug up things from the medieval India, modern India, sorry, ancient India, so that you will have a higher output. See, the importance of this whole thing should be in what time you spend and the output that you get. That is what is the most important part in UPSC, is that the input what you give and the output what you get. So how much time you are spending on something and what output you are getting, this is important for everything else in life, and more so important in UPSC because the time is very less. So I would ask you to spend time in this ancient and medieval, and this modern. For example, this is modern India. If you want to read this part, you can read these themes in Indian history, you can read. Otherwise, I would suggest a spectrum. This will be more than enough. So for modern India, and the questions that are being asked in UPSC civil services examination preliminary for history, this will be enough. And some may have this doubt that some questions are very, very difficult. They are not, I do not know where these questions are coming from. So, for example, if they are asking 20 questions in history and these 5 questions are coming from out of nowhere, so you do not know, understand what these questions are, where these questions are coming from, I say leave those 5 questions. Attempt those 15 questions which is possible, See, think about this examination in a fashion of how to clear. Do not think about this examination of knowing everything possible. Knowing everything possible is a long-term journey. So in the time that you have to clear this examination, and have a strategy. That is the point. You have to have a strategic way of clearing this exam, not bulldozing your way through all these questions. That is not possible. So these books will be essential. And then environment. And for environment, the books have become bulky. But what I would suggest is that environment have these key concepts or key concept definition. Only definition. Okay, only definition. In a sense, what I am trying to say is that maybe if, for example, keystone species, what are all these keystone species? Or biological oxygen demand, or what and all, for example, what and all the laws are there in India, environmental laws are there in India. Just have the view. Okay, use the book. Okay, use any book that you have. Take those key words only. What and all is in that. Yeah, what and all is in the book. For example, in the chapter of laws, environmental laws in India, or chapter on the conventions in India. Sorry, conventions of the world, environmental conventions of the world, many UNFCCC, Vienna Convention, Biodiversity Convention, many other conventions are there. For example, take that book, take those words, okay, or conventions, and use Wikipedia. This is the point. This is what is the smart work, See, instead of, because the book itself is, so from here only the book has come, so you should understand. So you should, or for example, environment, the sites, biological diversity sites, sorry, not biological diversity site, all these conventions, Vienna Convention site, all these sites. What I would suggest is that for an understanding, the keyword, because it is getting a very large, so I would simplify them. So in UPSC, keep simplifying things. So all these important areas, you take it and you search for them. In Wikipedia, what you have to search is that this first paragraph, in whatever you read, okay, or whatever you read in Wikipedia, it should be the first paragraph, and this will be enough. And the next is this culture part. For example, culture, Nitin Singhan. So this, I think this covers most of everything, every part it is covering. But in this, not everything. This is the point. You should not read everything. This, if you cover every little detail, everything will be, you will not be able to operate properly. In that also, how do you, so for example, in dance means what and all you can learn. So there has been a question on Tribanga. So what is this in relation to these things? You think about a dance in relation to the steps that they have. Any Kalariyapattu. So there was a question on Kalariyapattu. So any martial arts that is important. So go from, for example, martial arts, something. So what context, UPSC, for example, will ask the context, will ask the meaning. They are not going to ask you, for example, any list down everything, every little detail of a dance. No. If they are going to ask you list down every little detail of a dance, leave that question. Preliminary examination, don't touch that question. What I am trying to say is that through this book, understand the crux. crux of these things have an yes, and that ஒரு essence மட்டும்தான் you should not engorge the whole thing, that is not the way culture has to be learned, and that is not the way UPSC has to be learned. So you can look into this book, but please be sure not everything. Next, this site, this for example, this site, this folk dance, everything is here. This Center for Cultural Resources and Training, folk dance, theater dance, this puppet dance. Actually, this book, this book, Indian Art and Culture, Nitin Singhania. All these, so for example, the table which is there in the Center for Cultural, this is the government of India site. So in this site, you will find all the dance, architecture, whatever music, whatever is there. For example, in this site, you will find. But the book is actually good. Book is also good, and it has been clearly given with all these pictures and things. So if you want more pictures, that is the point. So if you are thinking about some folk dance or some theater that you are reading about, and you want to see the picture now. For example, it is here in the architecture. So you want to learn about some architecture. Let us assume that a Dravidian architecture, you are thinking about Dravidian architecture means, and you want to see the picture, or you want to think about what is this Nagara, Dravida, Vesera. This is an architecture based question. So UPSC asked this question in 2012. They asked this question, Nagara, Vesera, and Dravida, what this means, architecture, So you want to see the distinction of these three architecture. It is in this book also, but in this site also you can look into the pictures, and it will be lively, and you can have a fun in reading, because culture happens to be a difficult reading for preliminary examination, So I would suggest this the whole thing for making it a fun thing to read. And then the science and technology and international organization. Where do you find all these things? Or for material for science and technology and international organization, I would say please read newspaper. See, this is the point. At the end of the day, mugging up from so many sources, you will get clogged. See, because you think about it logically, this slide comes last. Okay, for covering this slide, you are going to skip everything prior to that. So if you are going to mug up everything from some material, it is going to take all the time. So instead of that, now itself, for example, newspaper. Now itself, for example, there is a James Webb. James, for example, think about it. James Webb telescope. There is a telescope which has, for example, it has been released by NASA in December. Okay. What is this telescope? Idam point. What is this telescope? Why this telescope is important? This is one of the largest telescopes in the world, So this question, what are they going to achieve? The point is that they are not going to ask James Webb telescope, but what are they going to achieve through this? This will be the point. Why have a telescope? What are they looking into the universe, and what are they searching for? And are they searching for stars and things like that? Like the students of UPSC who search for becoming the IAS officers and IPS officers of this great country. Same way, whether what they are searching into this universe is what you should know. Like this you read, okay, or like this you read. And I think this video many of you had asked, so that is why we made this video, or in the sense of preliminary examination. So it is a start towards the preliminary examination. So how to read, what to read, and everything. You will now slowly, because I will start making all these videos slowly. Now the time has come, you can start reading. So please start to come. So one thing I will finish with this. Before March, okay, before March, at least read ancient and medieval once, at least once. So after that, you don't have to ancient and medieval India history. So if you are a person writing your preliminary examination in June, so you please, after this, you don't have to worry about or concentrate more on these books of ancient and medieval. But before that, at least, before that, one reading will be enough. One reading of what the story is. You may ask whether they will give you outputs. we'll see that in the preliminary examination. And for more updates, so for example, many updates in Minds of Aspirant, there is a link. So in the description you will find that link for the Telegram group. In that I keep updating everything related to prelims, everything related to mains, and more such information you will get. So please do like this video, share this video, and subscribe to this channel. And you can put down, for example, what things that you want in mind, or in what you want in terms of preliminary examination, or what you want to know about preliminary examination, and any thing related to UPSC, you can put down into the comments, or you can even subscribe to that Minds of Aspirant channel, and you can put the comments there also. So I'll look into that and I'll start making videos as per your questions. Thank you.